Hello and welcome back to coverage of the 2023 European Disc Golf Championships, an exciting and momentous occasion bringing the best players from around the continent here to represent their countries. We are in Tallinn, Estonia at the Song Festival Grounds Disc Golf course, and this is Round 3 Front 9 FPO lead card coverage brought to you by MDG Media. I'm Connor Wood, happy to be joining for this prestigious event. We see here Kristin Tattar coming in as your leader after a scorching hot second round, especially a great first round as well. She has given herself quite a cushion and really trying to forge a legacy here as one of the greatest FPO players. We see Henna Blomroos joining her, has a great command of the angles and a lot of power off the tee, often able to use that to her advantage. Of course, Finland giving a bid for that European champion title. Silva, Saarinen joining her as teammates on Team Finland. Another incredible player and one of the best putters of the disc in the MPO field without a doubt. Incredibly confident and always giving it a bid, even from distance. A great thrower as well. And speaking of great throwers, Eveliina Salonen, another player who has incredible distance off the tee and when she's putting it together on the green can be an incredible force to be reckoned with on the course. Another Team Finland teammate there. We see here hole 1, a scenic par 5 at 259 meters. Players will be throwing off that elevated tee into this open fairway. You see the white line on your screen, center left, delineating the out-of-bounds area. As the drone flies to the right is the OB. To the left is where players will want to land and need to land, as a lot of the right-handed backhands need to push that OB early, chip away up to the corner, make their way into the green across the hill, and then find their birdie putt. An attackable hole if you can keep it safe, but playing is very difficult all 3 rounds statistically, averaging around a 6 as a par 5.
Estonia, please welcome Kristin Tattar.
Incredible enthusiasm for the sport and for their local player there. This amphitheater, a very exciting and fun venue for this first tee and the ceremonies as our players come out to the applause of the crowd. We have reached the halfway point of the tournament with the completion of round 2 of the total 4 to come.
Reigning world champion, representing Estonia, Kristin Tattar.
We will see Kristin get us started. A fantastic power hyzer over OB for the first half of the flight, but a very safe use of the stability and good angle control.
Henna, Blomroos.
We see the Finns here all competing with each other for those remaining positions. Of course, nothing is set in stone, but you can imagine that it would be quite a feat to catch up to Kristin if she can continue the pace she has been playing at. Henna, an incredible player looking to give it a bid for that coveted European Championship title, and she has a good shot to start her third round as well. Center fairway and healthy distance.
Representing Finland, Silva, Saarinen.
Silva has had an incredible season so far. As you see her there trying to get something turned over on the left side to fly over inbounds, she has a little bit of a late release playing the turnover line and as a result crosses to out of bounds. And fairly early that will take her to the drop zone where par is manageable but still difficult, of course. Eveliina, first throw of round 3. And this is a low pushing shot, but she will be challenging the left side. Checks up in time as she is also in position to attack. Not as much distance as some of the others, but an absolutely fine shot and a good position. Eveliina not having to risk that OB to the right at all. Silva, however, did find it as she plays now from the drop zone. A good pushing shot there. This uphill slope, a little bit deceptive, more so than it may look on camera. Eveliina with some great distance lines that she's shown us. We see just that nose down straight shot. Exactly what you want to do. The height really will mitigate any chance of turning or fading too much if you can just keep it low to the ground. And of course going uphill as well. All you need to do is match the grade. We see Kristin with the big straight shot as well. We see Henna's arm speed there. A huge shot on just pure hyzer. Very nicely done. We go to Silva here. This is her 3rd throw, but 4th stroke. If she can put this close, very potentially saving her par there. Nicely done. A great shot by Silva to try and stem the damage of that early OB. Coming in tied with Henna to this first hole. Trying to avoid any potential separation with her competitors that is not in her favor. We go to Kristin. And a great shot, using the fade into the hillside to control that movement. Looked good the whole way. Eveliina here looking to swing the hyzer in, but not giving it the width. And coming up a little bit short as well, likely due to that hyzer angle being a bit too much. But certainly up there and with an available putt, no doubt. Henna almost going sideways across the hill, even with just throwing pure hyzer on her 2nd shot, almost had the distance. As we see her crash on into the green, a great touch from her as well, right at bullseye's edge. Henna Blomroos well executed on hole 1. We go to Eveliina's putt from just inside the circle, looks to be about 9 meters downhill. And it's a heartbreaker. A brutal roll away there down the hill off of what looked to be fairly close putt, even finding some chains. She's now left with a lot more distance and uphill. An unfortunate break there for Eveliina. And this is a good angle actually to show the slope, especially as you get closer towards the green. Silva with a good par save after the early OB. Well managed there, playing as a par 5 for the FPO field. We see Henna here, left with this short distance, and she does secure the birdie. Very nicely, Henna Blomroos. Textbook execution and a good confidence booster to her round. We see the same from Kristin. Not giving up a stroke early on with an incredible 14-stroke lead. Perhaps one of the most statistically significant leads in FPO European Disc Golf history on a lead card by round 3. We go to hole 2, a 93-meter par 3 tunnel shot. Really testing your straight shot capabilities. You can swing a hyzer with the backhand or forehand, but the true gap, as the designer Seppo Paiju intended, most likely the straight line, using a touch of understability, getting it up to flat, and then hopefully finding some late fade to the left. We see Kristin with a great straight piercing shot, sliding her way up into the circle. And still continuing to apply pressure to the field. We go to Henna now. Is riding that momentum of the early birdie. A great feeling, especially in these critical moments. Lead or feature cards. She matches the line almost identically, just a little bit higher. Catching something comes a few meters shorter than Kristin's, but also very nicely placed right in the middle. Silva there, not able to get through cleanly. We'll still leave her with 30 or so meters to the green. And Eveliina inversely finding the left side of the tunnel. A little bit less distance than Silva's, but both of them with some work to do. We see Eveliina forced to this slightly awkward pattern pending, but so good at the standstills. She finds her bullseye from that tough position. Really great shot by Eveliina. Silva continuing to struggle. She navigates her way to the green and hopefully a chance at a putt here for her par. Although a very long one. She's able to get it up there into bullseye. We'll be left with a short bogey. Henna's chance here for her too. And she finds it right at the bottom of the cage. Look at the height. A lofty bid, I think, really trying to keep it close as well as give it a chance. And you see with little to no chains there, does find the bucket. Yet another look at that. Henna here from the straddle stance. Gives it tons of height, full extension of the arm. And a nice width as well. Just sneaks on in. Amazing putt here in round 3. Kristin now with a tester putt. And she's just a little bit low. She'll quickly be tapping in her par here, remaining at 17. Henna able to chip away at that big stroke difference. Getting 1 stroke on Kristin here on 2 with that incredible putt. And with those short tap-ins, a bogey for Silva and a par for Eveliina here on 2. Here we are on hole 3. A par 3 at 90 meters. You have this initial high floor provided by the hedge alongside the low ceiling of the hanging branches. There's a narrow height window that you need to hit on this hole. Additionally, OB to the left side the whole way, as well as long and right if you find it, but the left side really being the one most often coming into play. Those 2 big trees on the right, guarding the green if you fade a little bit early with the forehand or turn over with the backhand. We will have Henna to get us started, going hyzer release left side, using the understability and letting the disc do the work. And a beautiful line drive straight to the green. An incredibly pure line to the pin. As Henna looks to go 3 through 3. A hot start. Kristin playing the flex forehand. And finds her way into the circle as well. What looked to be a lot of Anheuser angle, still able to fight back with the overstability towards the end of the flight. Even gets a soft skip. We go to Eveliina here. Also looking to shape the backhand with that left to right fairway. And finding the very last tree, she'll be left with a long look up into the hillside. Hole 3, certainly not the easiest birdie, but also one that doesn't create a lot of bogeys. Par by far being the most common score. But mentioning that Silva does go OB left, and that is most likely a bogey from there unless she can do something miraculous from where she crossed. But she'll certainly have an opportunity as we go to Eveliina first. Silva went out just by this bench, so she does have a putt. Although a demanding one. She gives it her bid and will have another tap-in bogey here. 2 through the first 3. We go to Kristin. Her inside the circle look at the birdie off the forehand flex. And similar to the last putt, just a little bit low, finding top cage. And Henna, just like that, making it look pretty simple. A beautiful birdie as she goes 3 down through 3 and has already separated now from Silva and Eveliina quite a lot. Another 2-stroke swing between Henna and Silva here on hole 3 as Eveliina takes another par alongside with Kristin. A slightly easier hole to birdie, although not without its complexities. Our lead card comes here to hole 4, a 96-meter par 3 tunnel shot. You have that initial high floor, then sloping down into this fairway. A good shot will fly over this path, and then have a late fade to the left for the right-handed backhand hyzer, and find this green. You do see OB long as well if you come in a little bit too straight. Really timing the hyzer fade is what often determines the ability to get into the green and put it close. You want to see your disc push straight over the path and then cross through the tree line late. A beautiful example of that there by Henna Blomroos, looking to continue a perfect start here to round 3. Very nicely done. Does find herself inside the circle. We go to your leader, Kristin Tattar. A great shot, and you see that as well, where she makes sure to find a lot of forwards flight before fading to contest with as few trees as possible. Textbook execution for Kristin. Eveliina going to test the trees slightly earlier, and coming in at that angle does find one. Kicking to the right, she'll have a long putt, but likely a pretty easy 3. Silva with quite a significantly early release towards the trees and is left with the longest approach remaining here. Still opting for the jump putt. She has some great speed on her putt. Really able to give it a bid from huge range. And we see her just laying that one up there. Eveliina doing the same. Both of them yet to find their first birdies here on round 3. We come to Henna looking to find her 4th on hole 4. Just 5 or 6 meters away. And she's done it. A fantastic start to round 3. Henna Blomroos sitting in second now at 6 under, creating some incredible separation and really giving a charge to our leader. However, Kristin able to match her with an even shorter birdie putt to maintain pace and not lose strokes. Really, the separation is on Silva and Eveliina's side here, as Henna has now run away from them a little bit with extremely clean start. You'll see the par tap-ins for both Silva and Eveliina. Here we are on hole number 5, a par 4 at 201 meters. You see this initial obstacle in the center fairway as well as an OB line along the left and right sides. That left side really being the most dangerous and significant factor here on this fairway. You want to push your first shot anywhere near this dogleg to the left as the fairway bends softly. You see you also have these late trees and low ceiling to contend with to try and access the green. A lot of players will need to create that left to right movement on their shot shape to ensure that they don't find left side OB with the backhand shape. The forehand also allowing more of a safe choice if you're comfortable throwing it off the tee. We saw Henna with an incredibly long and shaped drive in a previous round, as this looks like a great flight as well. She'll need to avoid it finishing too far to the left. As she challenges the line, she checks up safe, and that is a crush again. A fantastic spot that will leave her less than 100 into the green and really open up her angles as well to that left side. We'll give her some options. Kristin here shaping the flex as well. A lot more left to right movement, but she finds the stability. Also a fantastic shot there in a good spot, although she'll have slightly more distance to the green with that low ceiling than Henna. Eveliina really looking to just crush this one and turns it over the whole way into the ground, still with a lot of speed when it connects there. Really erring to the side of caution. And Silva, a player who on a lot of these par 4s and 5s does sometimes take an alternative line and route, flying over inbounds the entire flight. We see her go to the right of that structure, and playing the hyzer will leave her with a lot of distance here and a little bit of awkward footing on the slope. She has to opt for the standstill despite the pretty significant distance to the green, but look at the shape. That is a really nice shot by Silva from way out to give herself a chance at the birdie from the standstill, hitting that low ceiling, getting the turn and the fade just right. There was a lot of factors there in that shot that she executed well on. Eveliina with two slightly overturned shots, leaving her with most likely a chip shot, layup, or putt for her par. Kristin from a great spot here does have an open straight look to the green. She's opting to flex this forehand. A great way to navigate the height, the forehand with the lower release point. Often favorable for the low ceiling shots. And she gets her way to just inside the circle, and Henna with an absolute crush off the tee with only about 80 or so meters into the green. Able to disc down a bit and finds a soft skip into the circle for her as well. Still continuing to attempt that flawless start. Eveliina doing what she needs to there. Let's just take her par and move on. Silva able to give it a bid. We go to Kristin now. And another putt that just finds the cage. Really close to chains, but not enough juice on that. A similar mistake for her on previous putts for Kristin on the green. We see Henna's chance there also fly by her. And Eveliina with the low left side, but sticking that one in for par. Henna taking her first non-birdie score result of this round. Taking the par on hole 5, a hole that averaged at 5.17, more than a stroke over its par 4. A lot of double and triple bogeys coming into play, but our lead card here, walking out with the par frame, no worries at all. Well done. We see here hole 6. A technical and short par 3 at 82 meters downhill. You have to navigate this nose down approach into this sloping fairway. You have trees on all sides, offering a pure tunnel shot, and with OB tight to the left, right, and long, any significant kick off a tree is likely to find you out of bounds really important to try and have a clean flight. A lot of players playing quite low in order to mitigate the risk. This one requiring a great touch. And it's shown right there by Henna Blomroos. On fire right now, executing shot after shot, sitting at 4 under already through the last 5 holes, looking to continue racking up the birdies. Kristin shaping the forehand, finds a bit too much turn, but very manageable 3, and certainly a long chance if she chooses to run it. Interesting to see her mindset coming in with such a significant stroke lead. She could opt to play quite conservatively and walk away with it, but I think she's really trying to make a statement here. We see Eveliina with a fortunate kick to remain both inbounds and providing her a putt. We go to Silva. Getting that hyzer up to flat. And a great forwards pushing skip towards the end of the flight to give her that extra distance into the circle. Nicely done. Her caddy, Jenny Karpinen there, giving knuckles. We go to Kristin, who has the longest putt. Just to the right side, certainly giving that a bid. Eveliina's chance from circle 2. Silva sticking it. Finds the dance on the right side cage, but we get a smile out of her. Her first birdie here in round 3. Henna's chance. Also with some work left to do. All of our competitors here on the lead card with a chance at the birdie, although of varying difficulties. We see only Silva find and translate that birdie opportunity here on 6. Yet another hole that averaged over par at 3.56. There was a 31% bogey percentage and a 13% double or triple bogey percentage. The early kicks on hole 6 can absolutely do some damage. On all of these tunnel shots, I think walking away with par, not too bad. As we see just that for our other 3 players. Speaking of difficult holes, hole number 7, a par 4. It may say it's only 186, but do not be deceived. This is statistically one of the most difficult holes on the course. You have the early Mando tree forcing you into this tight gap where you have both a rising floor as well as a low ceiling. Very difficult to get enough distance off the tee shot to give yourself a look to the green. You then need to position yourself as close as you can to this OB line and then cross to the green in either your second or third shot. This green playing as an island, if you don't stick it, you actually do need to play from where you crossed earlier in the fairway, even if you fly through the island. A very mean hole that requires great touch and great angle control every step of the way. Silva's lone birdie giving her now the first shot off the tee. She gets a great forwards pushing flight into the hillside. She could likely choose to get aggressive from there if she wanted to, but it would be very risky. We'll see her decision later. We go now to Henna. Pushing the turn and the ceiling here and getting smacked down. That tree doing its job there. We see Kristin here shaping the turnover as well. Very similar placement to Silva, both of them in quite the sweet spot with a nice flight. Eveliina going for the hyzer release, and she too flips it up to flat, finding herself on the hill. It will be interesting to see how much risk these players choose to have given their the context of their score and position in the event. Kristin, the least incentivized to attack. Henna here, I think, simply needing to just approach to the green. Rather, approach to the line to then get to the green. And you see, given their positions and given that low ceiling, those late gaps between the trees, really is pretty irresponsible to try and go for it, even with these quite nice drives. Kristin pushing to the right to try and get around all of the trees. She did this in the previous round as well. Looking to circumnavigate some of the obstacles with a slightly longer line. We go to Silva now. A very similar shot with a little bit more leftwards movement. She'll be a touch closer than Kristin. We see Henna here having to go to this extremely awkward knee stance and still not providing her enough height to fly cleanly. Henna will find that OB. We go to Eveliina now. Some great forehand touch there. She plays the hyzer into the green and finds the bullseye. Very nicely done for Eveliina Salonen, looking to take that par. And Henna finding the left side wall. Will be rethrowing here now. No progress made on that shot. And as she looks to make the adjustment, again, just a little bit low. You see the danger of this hole now. Exactly why it's averaging more than a stroke and a half over its par. And the adjustment is made. A stressful moment there for Henna. Kristin looking to stick the green, and she does just that. She is just outside the bullseye, and you can see that OB line even just 4 or so meters from the basket. It is a really small landing zone that they need to stick. Silva doing that nicely. As we have her putting now. Finds the band and the chains. Doubles up and walks away with the par here. As previously mentioned, a stroke and a half on the field. Although these top caliber players really pushing the pace on every hole. You see Kristin as well walk away with the 4. We come to Henna here, who had many penalty strokes due to multiple OBs. And we see the very dangerous 10 for Henna Blomroos here on hole 7. Just like that, you see the danger and why this is the most difficult hole of the day and of previous rounds as well. Another one of these demanding and spooky tunnel shots, hole 8. A very treacherous one at 105 meters. This par 3 is a pure tunnel shot on a soft downslope. You see that Mando tree to the right side about halfway up the fairway, forcing players to keep it clean down the middle, really testing that long straight flight, and with the downslope also ensuring that not only is the hyzer angle right, but also the nose angle. You really need to get everything right here to find the elusive birdie on hole 8. With OB on all sides, again, any significant kick is likely to give you another penalty stroke. You see Silva pushing the height. Does fade towards OB. And unfortunately finds it, but she is in circle 2 and will have a chance to save her par from that lie. We go to your leader now, Kristin. A low-driven shot, finding a little bit of late ground play. She looks to be at about circle 2's edge. Potentially looking to give that a long bid or lay it up for an easy par. Holes 7 and 8. A very important stretch to get through. We see Eveliina overturn and get a hard kick left. Very rapidly finding OB, and with the distance she's at, par pretty much most certainly out of play, even the bogey will be tough depending on her open window. As Henna as well there, finding trouble on her tee shot, OB to the right side. We'll see how much distance she was able to get, given that Mando likely going to the drop zone. Yeah, unclear if she turned before or after that. We see it was missed. And a solid scramble shot to get herself up there with a bogey putt. We go to Eveliina. Does have quite an open window to enter the green, and she's accessed it nicely. Also looking at that putt for bogey. We see Kristin here with a very long look, going to that straddle jump putt, looking to just lay this one up, and maybe even a soft bid from way downtown, putting downhill, playing as a little bit shorter than it was. We go to Silva. And an incredible highlight putt. That is classic Silva Saarinen right there. A par save from downtown after going OB. Showing you her skills on the green. Get another look at that. We see just a very clean form, an extension of the arm, a kick out of the back leg. Confidence, the pace, the height, and the width. Digs it in from way down there. Great moment for Silva Saarinen. Henna there with her chance to save the bogey from the drop zone throw. Eveliina here also. She does save the bogey putt there, looking at 2 over through the front 9. A recent stretch of pars ended there by that bogey for Eveliina. Kristin tapping in her 3. Kristin still bogey free, the only one on the lead card here so far through the first 8 holes. Very impressive feat given the many available dangers here on this layout. And we see, unfortunately for Henna, she does find those dangers. Here we are on hole number 9, a 106-meter par 3. You have this initial gap to hit off the tee, where the fairway then begins to bend softly left towards this elevated basket and fairly open green. There is OB behind it. If you give it a long bid, could potentially be found, but otherwise quite attackable, especially for the right-handed backhand. If you have the power, good to go all hyzer to try and push that leftwards movement. Silva looking to shape said hyzer, and does battle through actually really nicely. Looks like she may have gotten caught up early, but able to fight through and is in circle 2 with a look. A good break. We go to Kristin now. A classic line there, beautifully done. Sneaks her way up to just inside the circle. We'll have a 9-meter putt for her birdie. And we see just pretty textbook. To get more left, you need to hug the inside a little bit more or throw it a touch higher. We might see that from Eveliina here. Looking to get as close as she can. Some great power with the full power hyzer. And on display right there, you see that tiny adjustment to angles in both height and width, allowing her to be closer to that elevated basket and get to her, hopefully, first birdie here of round 3 for Eveliina off that great shot. Henna with a slightly lower line, but a fine shape, finds herself in circle 2 with a putt. Silva simply laying up the responsible choice from that distance, particularly on the elevated basket. We go to Henna now, giving it a bid and finding the cage. You saw her really float that one as well to ensure she keeps it close if she were to miss, and she's done just that. Kristin Tattar, though, she's good for it from 9, and fantastic putt to close out her front 9 at 3 under, bogey free here in the third round. Just an incredible performance so far in this tournament by Kristin, harnessing the energy of the local support and really a breakout star, both in this country as well as internationally. Continuing to push the pace there. Eveliina able to find that birdie, Silva taking the par, and Henna as well alongside her. Some exciting action as the scores once again begin to converge for the second, third, fourth place positions. We take a look at the standings. Kristin Tattar sitting at 19 under, a whopping 18 strokes over second place. Going into round 3 back 9, Silva Saarinen in second at 1 under, Eveliina 1 over in third, and Henna in fourth place at 2 over. Some exciting action here and a demanding course, really testing the best in the world. A momentous occasion. Thank you for joining us here for this coverage of FPO Round 3. We appreciate your support. You can like, comment, and subscribe, or you can check out the Patreon if you're feeling extra supportive. You guys are what help us to create this coverage, and we appreciate every one of you. Make sure to join us for the back 9 and the exciting conclusion of Round 3.